Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley and today I thought it would be fun to do a good old-fashioned palette bingo. It has been a minute since I have done one and I really enjoy doing palette bingos because they really force me out of my comfort zone and require me to be more creative than I am typically on a day-to-day basis. So for today's palette bingo, I am going to be using my new Colourpop Sandstone Collection palette. Now, I did pick up the entire collection when it dropped with the thought that I would review it here on my channel, but I'm not going to. Not because there's anything wrong with the collection. I actually really was very excited for this. First of all, the color story I think is, aside from being overdone, really beautiful. I thought it was really, really nice. I love the artwork and I was really excited about the new formulas. So the creme eyeshadows, as well as the new formula in the lippy sticks. I was super excited. But with Colourpop, I have come to the realization, and I'm probably really late to this realization, but I've come to the realization that it's not going to do anybody any good for me to review this collection. The only people that benefit from reviewing Colourpop collections are the people that get them in PR, because they come to them before the palettes or the collections or whatever the case may be, before it drops. So they're able to get the video out to you when it's relevant. And you may be thinking, well, gosh, it's only been a couple of weeks. And yes, it has only been a couple of weeks. But the reality is that with Colourpop, in the time that it takes for you to order the collection, wait for it to ship, allow it to arrive, and film the video, they've already dropped 2 more collections and it's completely irrelevant. Which I have to say, I'm really frustrated with Colourpop right now, to be quite honest with you. That is one of the reasons. They are just blowing products out even faster than they were when we first started complaining about the fact that they're blowing up products incredibly fast. It just, I don't know. I don't love this fast fashion approach that they're taking to makeup, and I don't feel like it's sustainable, and that for me is a bigger issue. And it's frustrating because you get excited about a collection and then you go to order it and it's sold out, and then it almost never comes back in stock. And when it does come back in stock, it's only a couple of pieces here and there and you're still not really able to get your hands on it. As a consumer, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm also pretty salty about the Hocus Pocus release, but we're not gonna get into that. But we are going to go ahead and we're going to play palette bingo with this palette right here. Certainly, if you like my thoughts on any of the items in this collection, I am happy to discuss it if the want is there. But I have a feeling you've already gotten that information from people that are on the PR lists and were able to get it to you in time for you to make a decision about purchasing this collection. So that's kind of where I'm at in that regard. So let's stop rambling and let's talk about this palette here. So there are 18 shadows in this particular palette. So that is a little bit larger than their traditional 12-pan palettes, but also they are square pans, which kind of flipped out a lot of people. I personally don't care, but I know for some people it was kind of a like, well, what do you mean it's got square pans? Colourpop has always had round pans, which I get. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put those variables into my pretty random app. So here we have, oh, let me actually prevent rerolls real quick. Hold on. There we go. All right. So we have 1 through 18. I'm going to start with, I think, 4 shadows and see where we are. So the first one is number 3. Number 4, number 17, and number 14. Okay, let me go ahead and swatch those and we'll take a look and see if I feel the need to roll anything else. All right, so here we are with those shades swatched. So starting here, this is the 3rd shade, which is Open Road. Then we have Vortex. Number 17 is called Grounded, and then number 14 is Recharge. So I'm gonna roll another another shade because while this is a beautiful color story, it's a little too safe. So let's go ahead and let's randomize one more. 7. Okay, so yes, it worked. It worked. Okay, so number 7 is this shade right here called Westward. Every time I look at it, I keep wanting to call it Westworld. My husband and I have been getting into the 3rd season of Westworld, so I just jumped to that. And that is this really pretty goldy green down at the bottom. Okay, that gives me just a little bit more to work with. I am going to go ahead and probably do the predictable thing, but I don't know. We'll see. And I'm going to jump off camera and then we'll come back nice and zoomed in, probably with my bangs pulled back because they're getting too long and fluffy, and I tried to cut them and give myself like the kind of curtain thing, and it did not work. So yeah, gonna pull those back. All right, so here we are nice and zoomed in on my face with the bangs out of the way. And I figured since I do have the entire collection and we are gonna be using the Sandstone palette, I might as well prime with one of the new cream shadows. This one is in the shade Agave Bloom. So this is what it looks like in the jar. Now don't let it deceive you because all of these cream shadows with this collection, they have glitter in them. And I think I kind of like that. I know that that may be an unpopular opinion, but I find that they work both ways. So if I wanted to do this as kind of a one and done sort of cream shadow look, put something in the crease and this all over the lid, it adds a nice little sparkle, which is kind of fun. But if I just want to use it like I'm using it today to prime my lids and then put shadow over it, it works just fine for that too. The glitter doesn't take anything away from those looks. Now, again, I know not everybody will agree with that opinion, but that just happens to be mine. Do I think that this will take the place of the MAC paint pots? Probably not, but they are a lot more affordable and they are very much comparable. So I do think that if you like the idea of the MAC paint pots, but it isn't like your holy grail, then I think you would actually quite like these. Okay, so now that we have that there, typically when I'm using an eyeshadow base, which honestly is always, I don't set the entirety of it. I like for my lids to remain tacky. So I am going to take that first shade that we pulled, which is called Open Road. It also has glitter in it. This collection, many of the mattes in this collection have glitter in them, which again is not everybody's favorite. I don't know how I feel about those, to be honest with you. I think they swatch really beautifully. I think they look amazing in the pans. Oh my gosh, I think they look absolutely stunning in the pans. But I don't necessarily know that they bring anything to the actual eyeshadow look. Alright, so I just put this almost the entire way up my brow bone. Up to my brow bone, sorry. I didn't go all the way, but I got very close. Now, for many people, this will work just fine to set your entire eye space. For me, because I am so fair and I am neutral in undertone, this definitely does pull a little bit more peachy rather than just like bone shade, I guess. But it does definitely work for what I'm using it for, so I am happy with that. I think then I'm also going to take some of Vortex, which is that fourth shade that we pulled, and I'm going to buff that into the crease itself using just a fluffy brush. I'm not trying to be overly precise here. Well, I'm realizing now that I did not tell you what my game plan was, so maybe it'll just be a surprise. I don't know. But I'm hoping it'll come out nicely. I don't know. So, by the way, thank you to everyone who asked about my husband's exam that he took. He took last weekend. He took the CISSP, which, if you've never heard of it, it is an IT certification, and it's kind of a big deal. Not a lot of people have it, and it is an international certification. So it is really, really exciting, and I think it'll allow him to have some additional job progression, which, I mean, that's what we're all looking for, right? We don't want to stay in the same, you know, role forever and such. So this is a really exciting opportunity, and I have to kind of gloat on him for a second because he did a fabulous job. He not only passed it, but he passed it with the fewest amount of questions possible, which is very exciting because most people actually fail this test the first time that they take it, because the format of the test is one that I thankfully have never worked with. I'm a terrible test taker. I will freely admit I'm a terrible test taker. I have so much anxiety around the test, and then you put me in a timed environment and it's over. But he did fantastically. The way that this test is set up is it's adaptive testing. Before I talk about that, I'm going to take this flat little packer brush and I'm going to take that shade Grounded, which is the deepest shade, and I'm going to put it on the outer and inner areas because we're going to do a halo eye. But yeah, so the adaptive test means that it is looking for your areas of weakness. So it asks you a question and then kind of digs a little bit deeper into that question, and if it seems like you've got a good handle on that particular area of the test, then it just stops asking you those types of questions and moves on to a different area to see if you have proficiency there or if you have some weaknesses. And if it finds that you have a weakness, then it really drills down into that. So I'm going to do my best to kind of talk a little bit about this certification, but please know I am not an IT person. So if somebody out there is watching this and has the CISSP, first of all, congratulations, because that is not an easy thing to do, or know somebody who does. Please don't come for me in the comments because I've explained something wrong. But with the CISSP, it's internet securities based. And so apparently there are 8 domains that you're supposed to have knowledge on. So when it's doing this adaptive thing, it's taking information from, let's say, domain 1, asking you some questions, and if it seems like you have a good understanding of what the first domain does and what you need to do within it and stuff, it just doesn't ask you about that domain anymore and moves on to something else. So that to me sounds horrible. I don't want you to be searching out my weaknesses and then, you know, really torturing me with them. But if, you know, you're working on people's internet or the security of their internet, then yeah, I mean, I understand why this test is set up in the way that it is. I'm just taking some more of Vortex and going back through the crease a little bit. But yeah, so that is essentially what adaptive testing does. It just makes life really hard for you. And he, as I said, passed with the fewest amount of questions possible, which is really awesome, which means he knows his stuff. So yes, very excited for him. That was an awesome achievement to have. So again, thank you for anyone who did ask. Okay, so now using just my finger, I am going to take Westward, and I'm just gonna pat that in the center, and hopefully we'll get a good amount of that green. Because as you may know, if you've seen some of my other videos, I have been obsessing over greens. In fact, it should arrive today, but Look See Beauty had a sale a few weeks ago where all of their eyeshadows were $3. And I went a little ham and I ordered a fair bit, but when I looked back at like my order history when it shipped, I have so many greens. Oh my gosh, I feel like I tried to buy every green that they made. Like, clearly that is what I've been lusting after. All right, I think that is looking good. Actually, I rather like that. All right, so we still have recharge to use. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take kind of a smudgy brush. Oh, no, first I think I'm going to take this liner brush and I'm going to go back into Grounded, and I'm going to put that really tight along my lash line just to kind of define it a little bit. Which I apparently cannot talk and do at the same time. All right, and then I'm gonna take, what kind of brush? Because I don't want this to go too wild. I think this one right here. It's fluffy but tapered at the same time, and I'm gonna take a little bit of Recharge, which also is a matte with glitter in it, and I'm gonna run that along the lash line a little bit further down to kind of blend out that area. Yeah, just like that. And see, that's why I was saying with the mattes with the glitter in them, I think they look really beautiful when swatched and in the pan, but once you've kind of blended it out, that glitter just disappears. So it is not a pro or a con in my book. All right, I think that looks really nice, but just to make sure it's not too harsh, I'm going to go back in with this fluffy brush and a little bit of Vortex, which is that more neutral sort of shade. And I'm just going to blend everything into each other. Yeah, I think that looks really nice. Okay, so additionally, I do have the eyeliners. And this is the one that I was most excited about. It is the Creme Gel Liner in the shade Wildcat. But I don't know if maybe I should go with the brown. You know, I think I'm going to do the green. The reason that I was kind of hesitant is because I don't feel like it shows up very green. I recently posted a look on Instagram using this palette and this eyeliner. And it just isn't the punch of green that I want it to be. Now, the one from the Hocus Pocus collection probably would have been, but as I said, salty. There we go. I think that looks really pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put some mascara on. I probably won't show that because, I don't know, I just never do. And then we're going to apply one of the lips. All right, so here we are back with the eye look completed. All I did was add a bunch of my Fenty Beauty mascara, and then I took just a little bit of Pueblo, which is this shade right here, Ignore My Nasty Nails, and I added that to my inner corners and along my brow bone, and I have to say, I really like the way that this eye look came out. I think that this is just really flattering. Yes, it is a warm neutral look, but that is honestly all you're gonna get from this bad boy right here. But I do really like the pop of greenish gold in the center, and I'm really happy with the way that it looks. So let's go ahead and finish off with the lips. So I'm going to go ahead and pop on one of these beauties right here. These are the new lippy sticks that came with the collection. I think I'm gonna go with Verde Valley because I haven't used this one yet. This is a new formula. This is a blurring formula, I believe. Does it actually say on here? No, but it is one that I am actually really quite fond of. It feels really, really nice on the lips. It dries down very nicely, and it isn't 100% transfer proof, but it's pretty darn close. However, unlike the Matte and Matte X lippy sticks, they don't suck all of the life out of my lips, which I absolutely appreciate and love. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of this here. There's a little bit more berry to it than I was anticipating. Of course, a professional YouTuber would have swatched them all first, but a little aggressive. I still think it looks very nice. I think that it plays off of the eyes just fine. At first I was worried that it would be just a little bit too raspberry to go with kind of the terracotta on the eyes, but I think it did actually come out quite nicely. All right, so there we have the final look with my palette bingo using the new Sandstone palette from Colourpop. Let me know what you thought. Is this a collection that you've picked up? Is this a collection that you want to see more of? Because like I said, I've got the whole thing. So if you want to see more videos with me using these products, I would be very happy to do so. Just let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope that you're having an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye.